Hi everyone, today we will be discussing about antiviral agents. So what are antiviral agents? Antiviral agents are the drugs or they belong to the class of medications which are used to treat viral infections. And most antiviral agents are specific for treatment of viral infections, and most of them have broad spectrum of antiviral activity. What do you mean by broad spectrum antiviral activity? Means these antiviral agents will be effective on wide range of viruses. So antibacterial agents, they act on bacteria, and antiviral agents, they act on viruses. And the broad spectrum antivirals, they act on or they are active against a variety of viruses. Coming to the first drug under antiviral agents we are going to discuss is amantadine. As you can clearly see the structure, this is tricyclic. You can see two cyclohexane rings. Easy way to draw the structure: two cyclohexane rings. One is vertical and another one is horizontal. Cyclohexane rings of chair form. Write them one perpendicular to the another, draw them one perpendicular to another if this is the vertical one, and this one will be the horizontal one, and then fuse the terminals, the 1 and 3 positions. If they are fused through methylene bridge, you can easily get the structure of amantadine. You can clearly draw the structure and then place an amine group at first position. So coming to its nomenclature, it is tricyclic. As we said, this is tricyclo 3,3,1,1, and the points of fusion are at 3 and 7. Decane 1 amine hydrochloride. Amantadine hydrochloride is stable white crystalline powder, freely soluble in water and soluble in alcohol and chloroform. So it is very much freely soluble. Why? Because of the presence of a polar group like amine. It is freely soluble in water, and it is also soluble in organic solvents like alcohol and chloroform. And what are the uses of amantadine? It is used to treat dyskinesia, that is, what is dyskinesia? Inability to move. Kinesia, something related to kinetics, something related to movement. Dyskinesia, inability to move. Dyskinesia associated with Parkinsonism, and influenza caused by type A influenza virus. So what are the uses for amantadine? It is used to treat dyskinesia as well as treatment of influenza type A virus. Amantadine alone or may be combined with anti-Parkinsonian drugs or anticholinergic drugs. So it can be used alone or it can be taken in combination with anti-Parkinsonism drugs or anticholinergic drugs. Coming to its mechanism of action, the antiviral mechanism of action is antagonism of influenza virus A M2 proton channel, which prevents viral shedding, as viral shedding is very important for the virus to infect the cell and its replication. So what is the main mechanism of action for this amantadine? Its antiviral activity is because of inhibition of M2 proton channel. This point is important. Inhibition of or antagonism of M2 proton channel. What happens if M2 proton channel is inhibited? See, there is a process in the viruses called as shedding, viral shedding, in which the surface proteins, they may be glycoproteins, they will be removed before the virus can affect or infect a human cell. Just for example, in case of coronavirus, the crisis we are facing now, the virus has a property to shed off its surface spike protein. What happens is, during the process of viral infection, the virus has to be activated. The virus, from the inactive state to the active state, it has to be activated. For this, the first step is removal of spike protein, that is cleavage of spike protein. So this is one of the mechanism where the infectivity of the virus will increase. So in case of influenza virus, the M2 proton channel has to be antagonized. If it is antagonized, it will prevent viral shedding, and if there is no viral shedding, that is, shedding is nothing but removal of the surface protein, or partial removal of surface protein, or the cleavage of surface proteins. So if this viral shedding is inhibited, then there will be decrease in infectivity rate, or the decrease in activity of the viruses. So this is the main mechanism for amantadine. Coming to its side effects, amantadine has been associated with several central CNS effects, dizziness, hallucinations, and other side effects includes constipation or dry mouth. So these are some of the side effects associated with amantadine. Coming to the next drug, rimantadine. It is an analog of amantadine, where you can see the same core structure, the tricyclic core structure with an amine group, but you have an extra aliphatic chain. Coming to rimantadine. So coming to its IUPAC name, alpha methyl tricyclo 33137 decane 1 methanamine hydrochloride. Coming to its uses, it's orally administered antiviral drug used to treat influenza A infection, and this drug can also be used to moderate the severity of influenza A virus. It can also be used to moderate. So whatever are the critical symptoms of a viral infection, they can be minimized. So this is nothing but moderation of the viral symptoms. Coming to its mechanism of action, they are very much similar to that of amantadine, that is inhibition or antagonism of M2 proton channel. If M2 proton channel is being antagonized, what happens? The process of viral shedding is inhibited. If viral shedding is inhibited, then there will be inactivity of the virus. Coming to its side effects, nausea, upset stomach, nervousness, tiredness, lightheadedness, trouble sleeping, difficulty concentrating, etc. Coming to the next drug, idoxuridine. As you can clearly see the structure, this is the structure of idoxuridine. This is the structure of idoxuridine. As you can see, the next drug, it is idoxuridine. We'll quickly have a glance at the structure of idoxuridine. You can clearly see that it is an analog of uridine. This is a natural base which occurs in DNA. This is the structure of uridine, and this is the structure of idoxuridine. So here, as you can clearly see, there is an substitution of iodine at this position on the pyrimidine ring. As you know that this is a pyrimidine ring. Nitrogen at 1 and 3 positions, pyrimidine ring, and at this, if this is the first position and this is the second position, that is, if these are taken as 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbering, then this should be taken as 1 dash, 2 dash. So at 2 dash you have a missing hydroxy group, whereas it is very much present in case of uridine. So these are the structural differences which can be observed with uridine and the drug idoxuridine. So what happens is, instead of incorporation of this uridine into the DNA base pairing, idoxuridine will be involved in the formation of DNA. Thereby it inhibits the DNA replication. So you can easily analyze, like this iodine, extra incorporation of iodine and the missing of this hydroxy group at 2 dash position, then this will cause improper base pairing. So the viral the DNA of the virus replication will be inhibited. So we'll quickly go through the structure. Idoxuridine, it is a white crystalline powder at 25 degrees centigrade. It is soluble in water. It is used, and this solubility is mainly because of these ribose sugars. As you can see, this DNA contains of ribose sugar. This is a pentose sugar. So it is soluble in water. It is usually only topically. It is used only topically due to cardiotoxicity. Idoxuridine, if it is taken internally, it leads to cardiotoxicity. So therefore it is used topically. So it can be used as an ophthalmic ointment, that is for eye purpose, or ophthalmic solution as eye ointment or eye drops, eye ointments or eye drops. So it should be taken only topically. Why? Because internally it has observed that cardiotoxicity is possible. Coming to its mechanism of action, it is a nucleoside analog. As we said, it resembles that of uridine. This is idoxuridine, a modified form of deoxyuridine. A modified form of deoxyuridine. If uridine has OH, then if the OH is absent for the same analog, then it is called deoxyuridine. So it is a modified form of deoxyuridine in which you have an extra iodine atom. So similar to it is incorporated into viral DNA replication, but the iodine atom added to the uracil component blocks base pairing. You know that there should be base pairing in case of DNA replication, adenine with uracil. So that base pairing is inhibited, thereby it inhibits DNA replication. It inhibits DNA replication. This is the mechanism of action associated with idoxuridine. Coming to its uses, idoxuridine is mainly used topically to treat herpes simplex keratitis. This is a virus, herpes simplex virus is used to treat herpes simplex keratitis, epithelial lesions, and it is also, but it is ineffective against herpes simplex virus type 2. It is used to treat herpes simplex keratitis, but it is ineffective against herpes simplex virus type 2 and varicella zoster. Coming to its side effects, it is used, as we said, it may be used as eye drops, but it causes irritation, blurred vision. These are some of the side effects: irritation, blurred vision, photophobia, corneal clouding, and damage of corneal epithelium. These are some of the eye side effects which are observed with the usage of idoxuridine. Coming to the next drug, acyclovir. Acyclovir, it is primarily used for the treatment of herpes simplex virus infections, chicken pox, shingles virus, and others include cytomegalovirus infections following and severe complications of Epstein-Barr virus infections. So these are the names of some viruses you need to remember: Epstein-Barr virus, EBV virus, Epstein-Barr virus. Another one is cytomegalovirus, chickenpox, herpes simplex virus infections, and shingles. So these are some of the viral treatments it is used for. It can be taken by mouth or cream, or it can be injected IV. Coming to its structure, as you can see, it resembles that of guanosine. This is the structure of the nucleoside guanosine. Idoxuridine, it resembles uridine, and acyclovir, it resembles guanosine. And you know that this is a purine derivative, guanine. It consists of purine. It consists of a pyrimidine ring fused to imidazole ring. Pyrimidine ring fused to imidazole ring, and the nitrogen is linked to a ribose sugar. As you can see, the structure is very similar to that of guanosine, but the only thing is the ribose sugar is cleaved. It is not completely intact. As you can see, you can break the structure ribose sugar over here, then you will get N, and this part is very much prominent, but this part, the two hydroxy groups with this carbon chains are missing. So this is the structure of acyclovir. And coming to its mechanism of action, acyclovir is nucleoside analog that mimics guanosine. It works by decreasing production of the virus DNA. Acyclovir is converted by viral thymidine kinase, viral thymidine kinase to acyclovir monophosphate, and then it is activated to acyclovir triphosphate, which competitively inhibits and inactivates herpes simplex virus specified DNA polymerases, preventing further viral DNA synthesis without affecting normal cellular processes. So what happens is these bases like guanosine, these nucleosides like guanosine, what happens is this hydroxy group, the terminal hydroxy group will be phosphorylated, monophosphate, diphosphate and triphosphate. So the active form will be the triphosphates. So these triphosphates are synthesized by the use of the enzymes kinases, kinases. So thymidine kinase is the enzyme which converts guanosine to guanosine monophosphate, guanosine diphosphate and guanosine triphosphate. So the guanosine triphosphate will be the active form which will be involved in base pairing. So here if we are taking the drug acyclovir, instead of guanosine triphosphate formation, acyclovir triphosphate will be formed, and this will be incorporated into the DNA. So there will be production of faulty DNA, so which prevents cell growth of the viruses, which prevents the viral replication. So this is the mechanism of action associated with acyclovir. And coming to its synthesis, acyclovir synthesis is present in your syllabus. So quickly we will go through the acyclovir synthesis. As you can see, this is the structure of guanine. This is the structure of guanine. This is an enolic form, double bond, and this is OH, enol form, or you can rewrite it as keto form or enolic form. Okay. So here guanine, first step, what happens is there are nucleophiles. One is amine, and this NH, and this is OH. So here what is the first thing we need to do is these are more reactive compared to NH. The OH, NH2 followed by OH, they are more reactive towards a reagent than NH. So in order to stop OH and NH2 from reaction, we need to protect OH and NH2, just like we have done in combinatorial chemistry. So solid phase synthesis, we need to use protecting groups. The protecting group is hexamethyl disilazine. It is used to protect OH and NH2, OH group and NH group. Once they are protected, this NH can only react with the reagent. So the reagent used is 1-benzyl oxy, 2-chloromethoxyethane. This is the structure of 1-benzyl oxy, 2-chloromethoxyethane. So here what happens is it will interact with this free amine and there is a bond formation. And in the next step, what happens is this is an ester, OC double bond O benzyl oxy group. So this will be cleaved in the next step. In presence of ammonia and methanol, this group is cleaved to give OH, and this will be the structure of acyclovir. This will be the structure of acyclovir, or the synthesis of acyclovir. Coming to the next drug, ganciclovir. Ganciclovir, as you can clearly see the structure, it also resembles very much like that of guanosine. So here there is an extra CH2OH group apart from acyclovir. Earlier case it was an enolic form, now I have written in a ketonic form, ganciclovir. So this ganciclovir is an antiviral medication used to treat cytomegalovirus infections. It is a prodrug with improved oral bioavailability. What is the prodrug of ganciclovir? The question, and the answer will be valganciclovir. Valganciclovir is the prodrug of ganciclovir. The active form is ganciclovir. The prodrug form is valganciclovir. Coming to the uses, the cytomegalovirus pneumonitis in bone marrow transplant recipients. If a patient has been transplanted with bone marrow, there is a probability of cytomegalovirus associated pneumonitis, so that will be inhibited. So prevention of cytomegalovirus in bone marrow and solid organ transplant recipients. Confirmed CMV retinitis in people with AIDS. Slight threatening CMV retinitis in severely immunocompromised people. It is also used for acute CMV colitis in HIV/AIDS and CMV pneumonitis in immunosuppressed patients. So most of the treatment includes against CMV virus, cytomegalovirus. And ganciclovir has been found to be success in treating human herpes virus 6 infections. Coming to the ganciclovir, it has also been found to be effective treatment for herpes simplex virus epithelial keratitis. Coming to the side effects, ganciclovir is commonly associated with a range of serious hematological adverse effects. Common adverse drug reactions include granulocytopenia, neutropenia, decrease in neutrophil counts, anemia, thrombocytopenia, thrombocytes, fever, nausea, vomiting, dyspepsia, improper production of pepsin or the gastric juices in the stomach, diarrhea, abdominal pain, flatulence, stomach gas formation in the stomach, anorexia, raised liver enzymes, headache, confusion, hallucinations, seizures, pain, and phlebitis. Phlebitis, it occurs at the site of infection, at the site of injection. If you are taking the drug IV, then at the site of injection, then you can diagnose the symptoms of phlebitis. And coming to the mechanism of action, as we said, it is an analog of guanosine. First, what happens? It needs to be phosphorylated by viral kinase to ganciclovir monophosphate, and then finally it has to convert to ganciclovir triphosphate. So here, if you are taking the drug ganciclovir, the concentration of triphosphate of ganciclovir will be 10-fold higher than that of guanosine triphosphate. So it will accumulate in the CMV virus and it inhibits the DNA polymerases from DNA replication. It inhibits DNA polymerases from inhibiting viral replication, the DNA replication. So this is the role of ganciclovir. And coming to the next drug, zidovudine, zidovudine or AZT. So as you can clearly see, it is an analog of thymidine. One of the drug was the analog of uridine, idoxuridine. It was an analog of uridine. So zidovudine, AZT. So you can remember, this is azithromycin, AZT, azithromycin. So it is an analog of thymidine. So it is used as an antiretroviral medication used to prevent and treat HIV/AIDS. It is generally recommended for use with other antiretroviral agents. It can also be used to prevent mother to child spread of HIV during birth. It can also be used by mouth or slowly by injection. So coming to the structure of thymidine, this is the structure of thymidine and this is the structure of AZT. You can clearly see the hydroxy group has been substituted with azide group, N3 group, azide group. So here, coming to its mechanism of action, as it is an thymidine analog, what happens? AZT works by selectively inhibiting HIV reverse transcriptase. You know what are reverse transcriptase? These are the polymerases. This is a polymerase which can synthesize the complementary DNA from RNA. It can synthesize complementary DNA from RNA. So it will be inhibited. It is the very prominent enzyme in case of replication of HIV. The enzyme that virus used to make DNA copy of its RNA. Reverse transcription is necessary for production of HIV double-stranded DNA, which would subsequently integrated into genetic material of the infected cell. So the active form is AZT to AZT triphosphate. The OH group will be triphosphorylated. So this triphosphorylated form will be incorporated into DNA. So this activated form of AZT will inhibit the enzyme reverse transcriptase. If reverse transcriptase is inhibited, there will not be any synthesis of complementary DNA. So at very high doses, AZT triphosphate form may also inhibit DNA polymerases used by humans. So apart from virus inhibition, it may also affect some human cells. but the affinity for viral that is reverse transcriptase is 100-fold to that of human reverse transcriptase. So the toxicity level will be less. So coming to the side effects include anemia, neutropenia, hepatotoxicity, cardiomyopathy and myopathy. Pharmacokinetics. Coming to the pharmacokinetics, the drugs that inhibit hepatic glucuronidation such as indomethacin, nordazepam, acetyl salicylic acid and trimethoprim, these are some of the drugs which causes decreased elimination rate and increased therapeutic strength of the medication. So this is a synergistic effect. Why? Because the bioavailability of the AZT will be increased. They are not rapidly eliminated, but they are very much present in the human body fluid, that is the blood circulation, so that it will inhibit the viral replication and the activity will be increased if taken along with the drugs like nordazepam, the diazepam class of drugs, acetyl salicylic acid, that is aspirin, and trimethoprim. This is a folate inhibitor, trimethoprim. Coming to the diadenosine, it is also abbreviated as DDI, is a medication used to treat HIV virus. It is used in combination with other medication as a part of HAART. What is HAART? Highly active antiretroviral therapy. Highly active antiretroviral therapy. So retroviral drugs are mostly used for treatment of HIV. Retroviral drugs are useful for treatment of HIV. So highly active antiretroviral drug, in that one of the drug is diadenosine. So it belongs to the reverse transcriptase inhibitor like AZT. AZT is reverse transcriptase inhibitor. So coming to its mechanism of action, you can clearly see it is an analog of adenosine. You can see adenosine belongs to purine class. You have a pyrimidine ring fused to an imidazole ring, and this nitrogen is fused to a ribose sugar. So you have an NH2 group. So here this diadenosine, it resembles that of adenosine. Only thing is this amine is replaced with keto group. Instead of amine, this keto group is present and the two prominent OH groups are missing. So there will be synthesis of faulty DNA. Commonly you can see the analogs are synthesized. Why? Because they resemble that of actual substrate, and there will be generation of faulty intermediates or faulty products. So this belongs to this mechanism of action. Diadenosine is a nucleoside analog of adenosine, as we have said. It is phosphorylated to diphosphate and then triphosphate by cellular kinases, and then it inhibits the reverse transcriptase so that there will be generation of faulty DNA. The complementary, you know that the reverse transcriptase is used to synthesize complementary DNA from RNA, so that enzyme will be inhibited. Why? Because there will be faulty incorporation of diadenosine instead of adenosine. So easy to remember the structure of all the base pairs, all the bases which are used in the synthesis of DNA. Then you can remember the structures of these drugs and what are the substituents which are missing or which have been added to the class of the drugs. So these are some of the drugs under antiviral therapy. So there are some more drugs we will be discussing in the next class.